Hey everybody, what's up? Good morning. Bay Ragney here. It is April 22nd, 2024, and as most of you know, had a health scare over this past weekend. Was in the hospital all weekend, so I wanted to tell the story of what happened, so people can maybe be on the lookout if something happens to them. Also, a lot of people have been reaching out to me over the last few days, which I can never thank you all enough. All the calls, texts, messages, etc., have just been amazing and have meant so much to me. Um, it's it's a weird. You hear about these things happening. Of course, nobody ever expects stuff to happen to them, myself included. But things happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. From now to the next second, nobody knows what's going to happen. So we have to learn to, I guess, be on the lookout for things, take care of ourselves, read the signs, be aware of the signs that something's wrong, um, and do the right thing. Um, so this past Thursday night, so what I do for work is I'm a catering delivery driver. So um, throughout the course of the day, I am delivering catered orders and doing a setup and bringing these orders into these buildings or homes. We have these food boxes that keeps the food hot, and then we have these bags that we have all cold stuff in, and plates and all that other stuff, napkins, forks, etc. Um, so sometimes, depending on the size of the order, it could be anywhere from 100 to over 200 pounds of food and supplies. So Thursday evening, I had two deliveries going out, and they were back to back. And my first one was at, I think it was at 5 o'clock or 5:30, 5 o'clock, and it was at, I'm here in Nashville, so it was at Vanderbilt University. I met my contact person in the parking lot, and I had to get everything situated and wheel it into the building. So we're walking through um, the campus to the building, and it was probably about a 100-yard walk. Pushing, it was probably about 100 pounds. The first order, it was a half size order of the second one, so it was probably about 100 pounds. It was one box, and when I got into the building and we stopped at the right at the spot where we were going to set up, as soon as I stopped moving, all of a sudden I just had this. It literally felt, excuse me, literally felt like somebody wrapped a belt just around my chest and my heart, and was just pulling tight while somebody was pushing a weight down on my chest. And now this was the part that was throwing me off. Both of my arms, not just my left, but both of my arms and just the upper arms, um, mainly in like my bicep areas, I just had this immense extreme pain that I've never felt before. So I was like, whoa, what, like what the fuck's going on here? This is not good. Um, and I was just, as I'm talking to myself, keep myself calm, because I wasn't sure what was going on. First instance, I'm thinking, am I having a heart attack? And I was just slowly breathing. I was not out of breath. That was another thing. I was not out of breath. I wasn't like falling to my knees. I was just like um, trying to breathe slowly as I was doing my setup to try to pace myself to not overexert anymore. And within about 3 to 5 minutes, it went away, and I was perfectly fine. And I was like, okay, finished my setup, packed my stuff up, and left. Walked back to the van with my stuff, got loaded up, and then I had to go right to my next delivery, which was a huge order. And it was only a few minutes away. So I leave there, get to the next one, I get the van unloaded. Now I got double boxes, big bag, I got stuff, bags hanging off my arms, and I have to push this easy 200 pounds of food and everything up a like double wheelchair ramp into the building. So as soon as I get into the building and I start asking where am I supposed to go, it happens again. I'm like, fuck, what is going on? So they direct me into the room where I have to go set up, and I do the same exact thing. I just like slowly talking to the person, just slowly getting my setup going without alerting anybody that there's a problem, which was probably a mistake too. And I just went about my business and did my thing, got everything situated, got everything set up, and again, within 3 to 5 minutes, it went away. Excuse me. So I drive back to the store, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait and see. I was fine. I'm gonna see throughout the rest of the night if anything happens. Then I'll go to the hospital. I was fine the rest of the night. Didn't say nothing to nobody. Just went about normally. Next day, I have to get up, go back into work in the morning, and do like another 10-hour shift. So get into work, fine, doing all the prep work, getting everything situated. I had 2 small deliveries in the morning. So I go to my first delivery and bring this stuff in. Boom. Same thing happened again. I'm like, fuck. Okay. So I just slowly do my setup again, get done, leave. It goes away. Go to my next delivery. Same thing happens again. Only when I was doing my deliveries, exerting myself basically, and carrying all this stuff in, all these food and supplies into these buildings. So I'm like, okay. So I get done, get situated, get back to the store. Now I have to wait 5 hours till my last delivery today. So I was just basically doing some small prep work throughout the day. But in my head, I'm like, do I say something to somebody? Do I just say, look, I need to go to the hospital? I didn't know what to do. And I'm literally fighting with myself all day long, arguing with myself. I need to go to the hospital. So I was then Googling too. So I Googled and it said about taking baby aspirin. So I run over to the store, I grab some baby aspirin, I take baby aspirin, and I said to myself, all right, here's the deal. If I go do this last delivery, and mind you, it was a small delivery to a person's home. If I do this last delivery and it happens again, the end of discussion with myself, end of fighting with myself, I'm going to the hospital. So I go to my last delivery, I bring this stuff in, and boom, happens again. I'm like, fuck. Now I'm literally, for the first time now, now I'm scared. And I'm like, I must be having a heart attack. And I'm scared that I have to go to the hospital. That's the main part that's scaring me. So again, it goes away. I drive back to the store, get situated, and go to the hospital. I leave the store, go to the hospital. I don't even say nothing to anybody. I just tell. I let my fiance know that I have to go to the hospital. Go to the hospital and walk in, and I tell them. I said, "Look, here's my situation. This was another reason I was scared to go to the hospital. I don't have insurance. Okay, which is something I need to really now sit and figure out because, God forbid, something else ever happens to me. So." I tell them straight up. I said, "Look, I think I'm possibly having some heart attacks, and I don't have insurance." They're like, "Okay." They immediately print out my bracelet, which I've kept on. I think I'm going to keep this on for a little while, just a little reminder. And they bring me right into a room right away and give me an EKG for my heart. Then they bring me into the waiting room. They're like, "We'll be with you in a few minutes." Within a few minutes, they bring me into another room, and girl's asking me questions, and she wanted to get an IV started for me to, so they can start administering whatever they're going to give to me. And the poor girl, like if you've ever had IVs, like it doesn't bother me getting an IV or getting a needle as long as I don't watch it. It's weird. Like so whenever I'm getting an IV, I look away. So I'm sitting like this and she's doing the thing and I feel the needle going in and I'm fine. And I'm like all of a sudden I feel like this coolness about my arm. I'm like, oh, I'm like, what are you putting in me? She's like, nothing yet. I'm like, nothing yet. And then this other nurse walks by and goes, what did you do? And I turn and look, and there's just blood down my arm. And if you can see, like, it's all black and blue from whatever. So, um, another nurse came and got it set up and got my IV in my first arm set. Um, then they bring me back into the waiting room, and then they call me back again, and then they bring me in and take chest X-rays, and then they put me in a room in the ER finally. Um, Doctor comes in, talks to me, asks me what happened. I explain the story to him, and after looking at the EKG and they did, I guess, some blood tests real quick. He said your heart enzymes are elevated, which tells me there's a blockage or something going on. So you're not going home. You're staying. He's like, I can't let you leave and go home and say, come back Monday. He's like, we're going to get you set up in a room upstairs, and then we're going to tomorrow morning start doing more evasive testing and figure out what's going on and get you situated. I'm like, oh, okay. This is the real deal now. So they get me set up in a room, and the next Saturday morning, this was Friday night, so Saturday morning, they doctor comes and talks to me. The first doctor, heart doctor, cardiologist, talks to me, and explained the story to him. He said, okay. He said, so basically, what was going on is you were having heart attacks. He goes, they were mini heart attacks, and you at any moment could have had another one and died. He said that's plain and simple. He's like, I don't know how the hell you continue working and doing what you had to do and just carried on like nothing. But he's like, we're going to do an echocardiogram of your heart. We're going to get pictures, which is basically like an ultrasound. And they did that and taking pictures and video and to hear all my heart and see what it was doing. So they did that. And then they said, if we can figure out from that, then we'll know what we're going to do. He said, but most likely we're going to either have to go in through your wrist or go through your groin, which I was praying they didn't have to do. And we're going to stick like this. We're going to feed this line up there. And with a camera, it shoots dye into your heart. And we'll be able to see if there's blockages or anything else that we need to see. I'm like, all right. So they really still couldn't tell good from the echocardiogram. So a few hours later, they come and get me, and they wheel me into the operating room to do the procedure. Now this is where it was kind of it was funny and wild. So they gave me I call it the Michael Jackson drug, what Michael Jackson used to take, what eventually killed him, Propofol, whatever it is. So they gave me that. So as they're administering that to me, they're talking to me and telling stories, and everybody's laughing. And I got all the electrodes on my chest from the constant checking of my heart. So I have two nurses up top here talking to me, and one like has a razor and just rips down my gown and starts shaving the top of my chest, and then the other one grabs it from her and starts shaving over here the other top of my chest, and then like without question or nothing, just lifts my gown and just starts shaving my balls and my privates, and I'm just and as they're talking, like, and that's when you just realize like they see this stuff every day. They don't give a shit. They just it's just like looking at somebody's face to them. So and it was just funny to me. I just remember that. And probably by the time she got done shaving, I was out cold. And they told me, even though you're out cold, they're able to talk to you and you're answering them throughout the surgery. But I woke up and what woke me up was I heard them talking. I heard the voices, and my wrist was in immense pain. And I was like, what the frig? And I like wake up and I like look at my wrist and I had this. What they do is, and actually, I don't know if you can really even see it, but I mean, it's literally like, let me see if I can. It's literally like a bee sting, like the size of the hole, like the wound there. It's like a bug bite or a bee sting. So they put this clear wristband around my wrist that applies pressure. They pump it with air. So what they did then was it was like after the first hour, and this what that does is help prevent blood clots. Um, they then release 2 ounces of pressure every 15 minutes after the first hour. This way helps the wound close up, no blood clots, and there's 11 ounces of pressure total. So as they release two, they look and they see if there's bleeding, two more, and they do the same. But when they got to like the 8 ounce mark, there was still a little bit of blood started bleeding a little bit. So then they pumped it back more and let it sit a little while more and came back to it. And then eventually it stops. So, and now, which they seem more concerned, like, they're like, technically, you could have gone back to work today, but we suggest 5 to 7 days of rest. Give your heart a rest, but also too with your wrist, you can't lift nothing over 3 to 5 pounds because of what they did. So I'll go back to work probably end of the week or whatever. But what the total outcome was, I had one artery, the LAD artery, it's called, was 95% blocked, and they showed me on the screen as I was laying on the operating table still, and they explained to me how they did it and what they did. So they take them as they're in there, they feed a stent in through my wrist up into my heart, and they put a stent in that artery, and it opens it up, clears the blockage, cleans it out, etc. And they say as long as I change my diet, I gotta definitely eat better. The main cause was cholesterol, buildup of cholesterol. So a lot of changing of ways, getting back to exercising regularly, which I have not been doing. So the important message here is eat. You can, of course, you can have cheats here and there. Anybody can. But for the most part, try to eat cleaner and healthier. Try to stay away from especially canned stuff for the most part. A lot of frozen stuff, like frozen vegetables, they said are good, believe it or not. But frozen other stuff, if you're eating like frozen pizzas and frozen hot pockets and stuff like that, no good. Just it's so pumped up with sodium, the cholesterol, everything. A lot of fried foods, all the things that people love. You have to have in very small moderation. You can't base your whole diet around it. So basically, you'd have to make the time to make the food, the good food, the clean food, the healthy food. So fresh vegetables, fresh proteins and meats and stuff like that, and exercise, movement. At one time I had lost like 120 pounds when I initially moved to Nashville because I was exercising almost every day. I was walking 2 miles. I was eating super clean. And I was just living a much healthier lifestyle. But now with working literally between my regular job and my business and other things I'm involved in, I work 12 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. So got to like slow down, take time for yourself to really do what needs done, both proper eating, proper diet, proper exercise. Very, very important. And also, if you're having any types of pains, your heart, your chest, arms, anything, whatever it is, go get checked out. If you don't have insurance, whatever, it doesn't matter. You pay them whatever the fuck you can, a couple of dollars a month. They're not going to, what are they going to do? They're not going to send you to jail. Take care of yourself. Get tested, get checked. Try to get to a doctor, get those checkups, get those blood tests done to make sure things are good. And just take care of yourself. All right. any questions, just drop it in there and I'll answer them for you. And just want to thank everybody again, everybody who reached out, St. Thomas Hospital West, the amazing doctors and nurses there, Nurse Dominique, who was at one time a Army helicopter mechanic and went through cancer and changed her life to become a nurse, which was amazing. Um, so yeah, everybody, especially my nurse Coco, who's really now going to take a lot of care of me. And I have a whip that's being cracked for a lot of things. So thank you, everybody, again. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's get back to the fun times. No more hospital times.